All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our GMC Tweet of the Night from the NFL on CBS here today. Highest quarterback rating among rookies this preseason. Kenny Pickett right there on top. No one's even really close. And look at guys that we were all comparing him to and potentially thinking that the Steelers might take Desmond Ridder, Malik Willis. I mean, Malik Willis had some impressive highlights that we've seen all over Twitter and in the games. But look at his passer rating, 80. And how about Sam Howell and Matt Corral? Those guys are at the bottom right there. So I definitely think the Steelers made the right decision.
And Richie, that passer rating, if Pickett does not spike the ball on that drive, that touchdown drive, he's 6 for 6 instead of 6 for 7. And the 6 for 6 would have registered a perfect passer rating. He got dinged because he stopped the clock. That is the inexact science of the NFL passer rating, that he would have posted a perfect score if he didn't make that play to stop the clock.
That should actually help a passer rating because he did what a quarterback was supposed to do.
But it's 6 of 7 instead of 6 of 6. That's the problem.
Let's go out to Guy in
Technically.
Robinson. How you doing, Guy?
Hi, Guy.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I just want you guys to know that all you guys are doing with your Pittsburgh Yinzer hype and your Kenny Pickett hoopla is you are absolutely ruining Mitch Trubisky's chance of succeeding in this town.
Do you really think that they listen to us, Guy?
Him a lot of money. We paid him a lot of money to come here, and he had a good early rookie season in Chicago until they changed coaching, and he was a number 1 draft choice. And we paid him money. And all you guys have done since
Guy, he didn't even play his rookie season.
All you've done is since day one is hype Kenny Pickett.
Look,
well,
I'll be the first one to say, Pony, I didn't hype Kenny Pickett early on, even though I'm a Pitt guy. He's impressed me.
Well, I did. I'm guilty as charged.
He's passed the eye test.
Because I believed in him. I believed in him, and I wanted the Steelers to draft him, and they agreed with me. I'm not going to yell at Guy. Guy's entitled to his own opinion. If Guy wants to get mad at me, that's fine. I'm thick-skinned. I call out Mike Tomlin all the time because he deserves it. I like to keep people honest. So if he wants to do that with me, that's his prerogative. I'm just going to say 2 things quickly about Trubisky. And I don't mean this to tear the man down, but these are just inarguable facts. He was sent packing by the Bears, not this past offseason, but the offseason before that. Richie, when that happened, how many teams were interested in signing Mitch Trubisky as a starting quarterback?
Nobody.
0.
So
when 0 teams thought that way 2 years ago, what would make teams feel now like he could be a great starting quarterback? What did he do in Buffalo that changed people's minds? He threw 8 passes, and 1 of them was an interception. So I think Mitch Trubisky is a really good backup. I think if he has to start a few games, he can do a good job. But where did this idea come from that he's a starting quarterback? Guy, don't get mad at me. Don't yell at Richie. Go actually look up how much money they're paying him. They're paying him like an upper echelon backup quarterback. They're paying him half of what Denver paid Teddy Bridgewater to be their starting quarterback last year. So, look, I root for Mitch because he's a good guy, and I want him to succeed as a backup or as a stopgap starter. But let's not pretend like he has a better chance of being a good quarterback long-term than Kenny Pickett.
Let's go to Scott and McMurray. How you doing, Scott?
Hi, Scott.
Doing well.
Thanks
Hi,
for calling.
guys. Hey, one point I think you may be missing is how the team has energy and momentum when Pickett is in there. I mean, it's incredible. You can see that from your TV screen. I think that's...
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying, Scott, and I thought that too, but they are playing against a different group of guys, and there are a different group of guys in there. Kenny Pickett did have some of the starters in there with him, but they are a different group, and those guys, he practices with those guys too. So, of course, they're energized for him.
Well, I think that argument would have worked for the Seattle game. Like, look who he's playing against and look who he's playing with. I don't think that argument holds up in the Jacksonville game. They were pretty much playing with the same offensive players and playing against the same defensive players, and I thought Pickett was a lot better than Trubisky.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there. Let's go out to Jeff in South Park. How you doing, Jeff?
Hi, Jeff.
Hey guys, hey Pony.
Hi, Jeff.
How you doing, man? Hope the Pirates game was enjoyable and there was no funny business going on. But I was going to say, Pony, you have my permission to fully gloat when Kenny Pickett starts the first game of the season and when he's a huge success. Gloat away. That one of those previous callers, that's a prime example of why I want you to gloat. But I also want to give Mike Tomlin some credit. I've been hard on Tomlin in the past. These last few playoff runs, he didn't look like he had the team prepared. I hate his in-game coaching sometimes, but I want to give the guy credit because maybe it looks like he was right all along with Kenny Pickett's ascent up the depth chart. We were all up in arms because he started camp as the number 3, and then it didn't look like he was going to get a real shot to win the starting job, and now look what's happened. So maybe he knew what he was doing all along.
Well, all right, thanks a lot, Jeff. You know what? I changed my mind a little bit, Pony, after going through camp and watching these games. I don't think Kenny Pickett will start week 1 no matter what. I don't. I think it'll be Mitch Trubisky. But I do think that there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance
when you say,
that we will see Kenny Pickett.
When you say no matter what,
well,
when you say no matter what.
Outside of an injury.
I know, but if Trubisky plays Sunday and he's awful, and then Pickett goes in with the same players and goes 2 for 2 in his 2 touchdown drives, you still think Trubisky starts?
I do. I
Okay.
think Trubisky starts. I think that's been the plan all along. I think Trubisky starts, but I do think kind of what Adam Schefter said. There might be a short leash on him. I am leaning towards.
So if they get blown out in Cincinnati like they did last year,
yeah,
who
I was
starts
thinking about
week
that
2?
Today. That's a good question.
Who starts the home opener? I'm asking you it, Richie. Come on, what do you think?
That's a good question. I still think they go with Trubisky, but after that game, I think they would make the move to Pickett.
So he gets one breakfast ball like Pompeani at Chartiers.
Yeah, I think he gets one breakfast ball. I think they go, unless, I mean, if they get blown out 37-0, something like that, like last year, that's a really good question. But I still think that they would go with Trubisky, knowing the Steelers, knowing Tomlin, that they would go with him one more week.
Yeah.
And then they would switch it up.
I don't want people to think that I hate Trubisky or that I'm trying to be negative. I think he can be a good backup quarterback, and I think he can win games. But I just don't get putting off Pickett. I think if Kenny Pickett starts week 1, he'll have a great career the same way if he started week 3 or week 4. I just feel like we're delaying the inevitable. And I also think it puts Trubisky in a bad spot, Richie, where, like, he's playing with so much pressure. He's got to know in the back of his head, if he has a bad game, he's probably going to get benched.
I agree with you. There's no question about that. We got to take a break. Back with your phone calls, some of your tweets, and more conversation with Pony coming up next.